Welcome and hello and hello and welcome and welcome and hello and bienvenidos y greetings y salutations. Hope everybody's having a great one. It is me, it is I, it is Danny Deals. It is un poco mas, the show where we try to give you just a little bit more every single day. I really didn't have anything to say. It's been sort of a boring week of consolidation, but I heard some of you nutcases were harassing Not a Lurker online. So I thought I'd jump on and just, press the pressure release valve with some of you psychos. Not a Lurker's got heads to shave, mouths to feed, children to raise, trucks to drive. Alberto Bertie Avilés is to bail out of jail. No, I'm sure he's very responsible. Many Harley Davidson enthusiasts are responsible people during the week. They just turn into psychos on the weekend. What's up, Colombian Kingpin? How's that hairline, buddy? Good to see you. What's up? Of course, the great Not a Lurker. We've got Jay Gatsby. We've got Clap My Dog. What's going on? Just everybody saying hello to Not a Lurker. Nobody seems to notice that I'm here. What's up, Lisa? How you doing? What's up, Heirloom Cedar? Got Ben G in the house. The great Ben G, the Rook, the man who castles before the game even starts. So he's just one step ahead. We've got Piner 74. Absolutely unbelievable. I wouldn't believe it myself if I weren't here right in the room. It's me. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello. Let's talk SoFi. Ticker symbol is what is the ticker symbol now? Of course, it's SOFI. Ticker symbol SOFI. SoFi Technologies Incorporated. It's un poco mas, guys. If you haven't heard, ask somebody. This is the place to be. So volume is descending again, back down below 30 million. We had, right around 30 million shares traded on the day. Lost 11 cents. This was a little bit different. What we've seen usually on a daily basis has been sort of a little tiny pop for the first 5 minutes, and the stock sells off like, a bathtub going over a waterfall, and it just descends. Whatever it might be, could be 20 cents, 30 cents, and then basically there's reaccumulation slowly up into the right the rest of the day. Right at the very end, it might, the last 5 minutes, it might sell off a little bit, it might go up a little bit. Today it went up and then sold off, but the volume always kicks in right there at the end, and people like dead stock, everybody's dumping the stock. Like, first off, that's nonsense. Institutions are actually buying the stock, and the data proves that. I remember I was, not to toot my own horn, but beep, beep. During this period, I said, the chart looks totally different here. It fell off a cliff here in March. I think this was one of these calls, or, bunches of FUD. And then from this point, March 6th, all the way to right about here, end of June, which basically encompassed all of Q2. It was in a really unusual pattern for SoFi. Very tight, very controlled. Usually we see more like this, where it's just completely jagged, completely out of control, algos fighting each other, but there's this sort of competition for accumulation that makes this very, very messy chart. But here it was just completely different. The volume dropped out of the stock, and I kept saying, guys, even though the stock is trading in a very controlled manner down and to the right, the institutions are accumulating. And everybody said, oh, you're an idiot, I can see level 3, you know what you're talking about. And I said, yeah, I do know what I'm talking about. I see this chart. I know this is controlled accumulation. I know shorts are covering. Some shorts are reshorting, but others are getting out and they're flipping. And I said, wait for the filings and you're going to see it. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, you see Vanguard, pumping up to, 90 million shares in their latest filing here on 8/13. And then you see, BlackRock is the number 2 whale in the stock. I think they just increased by 2 or 3 million shares. And basically all through Q2, there was institutional accumulation. That's the filings you're seeing now. That's where this went, from way down here to way up here to all-time high in institutional ownership. I mean, it wasn't extreme going up to 80% or anything, but we were down there, low 30s? And now we're in the mid 40s, even with a ton of dilution or significant dilution. So just be careful with charts, guys. A lot of people can look at them and you say, okay, the stock is going down and down and down. And they say, then they start with this dead stock narrative. But it's not true. Institutions are actually buying the stock. They're controlling the stock. They're making money from options. If you look at this blue line coming across here, the stock has never broken down below this line in the last, 15, 16 months. It bounced off it here, made a very similar move up. And this is sort of the last position on the chart that is a little bit analogous to this position. You look at a little bit of consolidation, it makes a move up, it starts trending a little bit sideways and down, and then that what I would like to believe in my, heart of hearts, wishful thinking, whatever it is, that we're right here, and this is about to explode. This is what I see on the chart, a similar move here. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Every other time this thing has come down on this line, you see this pump up here to 1160. Everything else below that, guys, it's never broken through this upper line. And every single time it's tried and every single time it's pumped, it's fallen way below this line. You see this here, falls down all the way down here. Pumps again, falls down all the way down here, all the way down here. Then it never breaks back above that line, just barely. And then it's triple tested in just less than a month. And it tried to break down below here, if you remember, but this was just an after-hours Fugazi. It never did. What happened? It consolidated above this line and moved back up on minimal volume, which I consider extremely bullish, but it's very hard to tell with this stock because market makers, I won't say shorts are in charge, perhaps option sellers are in charge, perhaps just market makers are in general in charge. Most of them, if they're short long, and they're probably selling options and they're probably doing all kinds of different things. So they're not just making money shorting the stock from here because options aren't saying they're expecting to push the stock way, way down. Puts are weak. Max pain doesn't get below 7. And then I think it goes up toward the time Fed Jerome Powell actually get a rate cut. I believe it's like September 17, September 18 is the next Fed meeting. But people expect them to say something more meaningful in the interim. Whether they will or not, time will tell. But to me, this chart is setting up for the last 2.5 years to move up. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to go back to 28, but history has to be your guide here. Where's the resistance above this chart? I mean, you see a setup here and you see it try to keep breaking out past this line. This will be, I think, the 8th time. And it's never got past this line since all the way back here. November of 2021 is the last time it actually broke above this line. So that's going to be very, very significant. I know you could say, okay, there's no data points in here that give this line any sort of meaning. And there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, it's somewhat arbitrary to try to apply this to anything that was happening back here. It just doesn't really apply. But in the shorter term, guys, this thing is still stuck on accumulation. I mean, it's even when it's traded, this is the same angle the algo always tries to trade it down at. Downward, maybe 6-degree angle, 7-degree angle. And what you'll note is that essentially they're dropping the price with high frequency bid rigging on minimal volume. I mean, most of the time what you see with this stock, guys, was like yesterday, where I don't know if I can see where this chart starts and stops, but yesterday would have been here. This is what they usually do right here. It just sells off at the beginning for 45 minutes exactly. And then the rest of the day, it's accumulation. And if you look at all these volume candles, probably, these are red, but this only represents about, 4 or 5 million shares in this 45 minutes, maybe 3 million shares in these first 45 minutes. Some days 4, some days 5, but the volume's been low. So then the rest of the day, you're trading another 35 million shares, the vast majority of which is buying. So it's sort of that shock and awe, stop people out. It's the same thing you're seeing over and over again. Today was a little bit different. But again, guys, obviously, I don't have much to say. There's nothing really to carry on about. Like I said, institutional ownership still showing 483 million, 45%. I definitely believe it's significantly higher than that because, again, these are the filings from Q2, and we're already almost 2/3 of the way through Q3. And if you look at this chart of institutional ownership, you can basically see where this thing is going. I mean, institutional ownership has not decreased since April of 2023, and then it was flat there through the summer, took a big jump up in the fall, and then was flat again out to here, and then it's just been rising significantly since below 400 million shares now, approaching, I don't know what this is showing. Close. Yeah, what does that show? 480, 485 or whatever it is. And also I noticed that some of the shares that were showing up on Vanguard over here are not applied to this count as yet. They're still showing the share count, but 13G works somewhat different than 13F. I don't understand all these filings, but there's different things. 0.72 sold out. They had about 2 million shares. I believe they were short long. I might be mistaken on that. Of course, Susquehanna very active, but Truist trimmed 8%. They still have about 137,000 shares worth about $1 million. Their average price is $12.61. That kind of just begged the question, something I was thinking about with all these re-rates. Usually two of the biggest SoFi bulls, John Hecht from Jefferies and Andrew Jeffrey, who I know are always active, especially Andrew Jeffrey, like asking questions. Kind of curious that, he didn't re-rate after the ER, I guess, Q1, after the ER Q2. So he's usually quite bullish on the stock. Also, Kevin Barker. These guys are very active on the stocks. Kind of odd they haven't rated since March. Would have expected Andrew Jeffrey and John Hecht both to come out with buy ratings after that ER, but be that as it may, touchdown Tim Switzer, the re-rater all-star, the short bus. Like I said, one lip ring away from an extra position in My Chemical Romance. He only re-rated the stock 3 times, and he has not rated again since 8/8, and that's because no one else has come out with a positive rating. If somebody else comes out with a positive rating to go to the top of that list, that makes SoFi look even good in any way, and it's kind of a ridiculous thing. It's like super childish, but he or the Chia Pet or the Bologna Sandwich or Midwest Values and Morgan Fudley or one of these douchebags will come out and just re-rate the stock to go back to the top of the list at a hold at 4 or whatever it is. So that's neither here nor there, guys. The analysts are going to do what the analysts do, but in the short term, they do really move markets on these sort of smaller stocks with there's just not that many analysts. Again, people, why don't you talk more about Microsoft? Why don't you talk more about Tesla? Like, there's nothing to add there. Everybody knows exactly what's going on. There's 80 analysts covering the stock from every different angle possible. They're seasoned professionals with decades of experience. They're there. It's not like these guys they put out, to cover SoFi, who's like literally a virgin on prom night. He's just 21 ratings in his entire, career. Like, these guys are just like brand new. 33 ratings, DBS. Like, you can tell the more experienced guys like Dolev, 500 ratings, not that great a record, but touchdown Bill Ryan with Seaport, 30 ratings. Morgan Fudley, Midwest Values with the bolt-on head, 30 ratings. So everyone who was experienced was just taken off the stock. I mean, the Chia Pet has 350 ratings under his belt. You'd think it would be impossible to be that wrong, and it would be if he was trying to be right, which in my opinion he's not, because his job is not to try to analyze stocks. In my opinion, his reason for being, his raison d'etre, is to in fact influence the price of certain stocks. I can't prove that. I'm not an attorney. I'm sure it's all legal, it's all free speech, but it just seems highly suspicious how these guys operate, particularly KBW. I mean, KBW has some weird stuff going on with the SoFi stock, and has for a long time. That New Year's re-rate is just very odd. Triggered like a 20% sell-off on the stock, sort of completely out of left field coming out of the holidays. Extremely odd. But anyway, guys, that's how this stuff goes. They push these sort of small meme kind of, retail heavy stocks around because retail investors are very easy to push around. They operate on emotion. They get scared. And this is a very vulnerable time. I mean, think about it in Q3. If institutional ownership went from, 380 million up to 450 million roughly, or whatever it is, 480 million. So, they added on whatever it might be, 80 million shares or something during the quarter. That means basically retail investors gave up those shares. I mean, it's a zero-sum game because the dilution is basically going mostly to employee compensation. And some of those, like the secured senior note deal, I guess, provided, accounted for some minor dilution that supposedly will be mitigated in the future as the deal is sort of, closed. But anyway, I don't understand all that stuff. It's way above my pay grade. Joe V, yeah, retail buys a lot of calls, but they also sell a lot of the calls. So retail has smart money and retail has very dumb money. I come down somewhere in the middle. Sometimes I'm buying calls. I usually buy them for much longer dates, at least a year. And then if I'm selling calls, I'll sell them for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 week, maximum 4 weeks usually. Because I just don't like to be watching them that long. I like to let the real dum-dums are the ones who buy the short term calls and don't sell them on pops. So if you can sell those short dated calls, you're probably selling them to somebody dumb. And it's just unfortunate, but yeah, you would be broke, but also, it would be much easier for the bulls to push the stock up, but the bulls don't want to push the stock up right now. If they did, they would. Vanguard and BlackRock and some of these others and Anthony Noto, if they wanted the stock up right now, they'd push it up right now. They don't. They have unlimited money. They have way more money than the shorts. They could force the shorts out of the stock, but they are the shorts, guys. You can't distinguish. You're like bulls versus bears. The smart money's trying to like rip their heads off. Like Vanguard is against, Susquehanna or Citadel. It's not how it works. Usually it's less of a MMA fight and more of a dance. They decide when to get out. They decide when to flip so they can skin retail alive to the greatest extent possible and put the most amount of money in their bonus checks and their mansions in Connecticut and their, whatever. Ugh. When I say I had nothing to say today, guys, I meant it. So I don't blame you if some of you shitheads want to bail out and go do other stuff. Maybe get your Kia washed. Maybe go down to your UPS store where you pretend to run a business. No, it's not a personal mailbox. It's a suite. I'm at suite number 270401. It's like, but when I put it on Google Maps, it's a UPS store. Oh, no, I'm in the office upstairs. There is no upstairs. I know. It's like, dude, how much fronting? They say fake it until you make it, but dude, there's really no, everybody has Google Maps, It's like using Suite instead of PMB, which is the Postal Service's preferred nomenclature for a personal mailbox that's contained within a private business. Why don't you shell out for a regular P.O. box? What are you on, a bunch of meth? You keep real weird hours. Oh, I can't get down to the post office before midnight. Got to do about 6 lines of meth, beat the missus. Well, you got a nice little Saturday night planned out for yourself, you piece of shit. Thank you, Not a Lurker. Appreciate that. Filtered tap water, indeed. I wish it was filtered. What's up, useless facts? If I was your child, there's no chance. Dude, if you were my child, you'd be one lucky son of a bitch. We would have matching tan ball caps. We'd go fishing. We'd go have a catch-up Foley Field with Ben Affleck. We'd write a hit movie. We'd steal it from Matt Damon. Oh, we might have a few brewskis with Shiloh LaBeouf. Oh, you are missing something. What am I missing, Lorraine? This is the part where Lorraine tells me I need to get laid, or I need to do more drugs, or I need to do less drugs, or I need to get more exercise, or drink more coffee, or drink less coffee, or settle down, or amp up. Let's see. We got our main man, Savage of Wall Street here. What's Savage doing? He's one of the smart ones who sells options, guys. And I keep saying that. I know sometimes I buy calls, but I time the pop and I get out and I take profits. That's the thing. If you have 20% profit sitting there, take it. It's like, well, if it keeps going up, I'm going to make 100%. I'm going to make $1,000,000%. I'm going to make $1 million. No, you're not. The market makers are not going to let your happy broke ass make $1 million on your stupid fucking calls because you're a moron. They're not going to pay you off. It's like when you win that freaking, you always see those stories on like Drudge Report or Dr. Phil or the fucking whatever, where it's like some lady will be at some casino and the machine will malfunction. It'll say she won like $60 million, but it just kind of tilted. Like it's a misspin, whatever it is. The machine kind of tilts and you don't win because it's a malfunction, but then they end up suing the casino. We're like, I'll sing the lights. But it's just, it's part of the laws. It's part of the thing. The machines it's anyway, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but yeah, sitting on over 1,000 cash secured puts. Bring it, bitches. Alberto Birdie Aviles is always on top of his option game. Just made reservations to chill at the Waldorf Astoria, Beverly Hills in November to celebrate the wife's birthday. 5 days. Dude, why would you buy more shares, man? Waldorf Astoria. That's fun. I mean, hey, great. It's a beautiful place. I've been there. I've eaten there. It's very, very nice. I've never actually stayed there, but I've eaten there and it's beautiful. But enjoy yourself. Yeah, guys, if you don't enjoy your money, why work so hard? Why play the markets? You know, like so you can get buried with it. That's no fun. Go out and spend some time with the missus. Get out to Beverly Hills. I think we could do some sort of a Beverly Hillbillies skit, but I believe Savage Wolf of Main Street is already from the Los Angeles area. So when I see his videos, he's talking about, you know, different California departments and different stuff. So I assume he's from Los Angeles. But anyway, good on you, man. Enjoy. Happy birthday to the Mrs. Savage. And hope you guys have a wonderful time at the Waldorf. It's have one of the Waldorf salads. I don't get it. What do you mix up like fruit and mayonnaise? What the fuck? Never got it. People are like, oh, it's so good. Like, I don't need so much mayonnaise on everything. It's too much. It's like, you know, obese trailer park folk and their ranch dressing. God damn it. Stop putting ranch dressing on everything. It's too much. You can't taste anything. And it's not just ranch dressing. It's got to be, the salt content has to be off the fucking charts. Hey, honey, you want some carrot sticks? Yeah, give me a couple of carrot sticks and about a half gallon of that ranch dressing. Oh, it's healthy. No, it's not. Anyway, who's this? Not a lurker. It's the only person who texts me during the show. What kind of producer are you? Oh, it's the same text. Oh no, it's somebody else. Thank God. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello, and welcome. Who else is joining us? This is here. This. I finally figured out how you pronounce it. It's this. It's like letting air out of a balloon. That type of sound. That's what you're looking for. That enunciation. We got Charted Travel. Are you smarter than a cheese grater? Yeah, I don't know. I definitely, definitely not as hard on the testicles. That's for sure. Let's see. He's back, and so am I. Hello and welcome, good sir. Richard Vaughn, champion drifter. Richard Vaughn getting juniors here. Hello and welcome, good sir. Go fast, turn left. Actually, I didn't even notice that. His avatar looks like he's at I can't see. My eyes are so crappy. Looks like it's a truck of some kind. Maybe, might be a Dodge. Could be looking at a Dodge. Could be looking at a Mopar. Could be looking at a Power Wagon. Can't really tell, Richard Vaughn. My eyes are shitty. Like my stock picks. No. Anyway, I got the Jimmer here. Watch out for those Kia boys. Them Kia boys, like the Island boys, are very, very dangerous. Anybody with a face tattoo. I've had enough of your nonsensical shit. Hey, I don't blame you, Benji. I hear that a lot. I hear that like 4 or 5 times a day. People storm out of my office at least a dozen times a day. Generally throwing a cup of hot coffee on me, and I go, hazelnut. Not bad. That was better than the last cup of coffee that got thrown in my face. Yeah, you would never be insecure. We already read that one. Savage Wall Street is making money selling options to go to Beverly Hills in his 1938 Model T Ford stake bed pickup truck with his entire family in the back, sitting on top of all their possessions. They're coming out from the Dust Bowl. I'm guessing, I don't know, Cerritos. I don't know. Where would Savage of Wall Street live? I have no idea. I'm guessing somewhere like North Orange County or 605 corridor. I don't know why. Something about his baseball cap, his no nonsense demeanor. fact that he's always making money. Probably has him a nice little house over there somewhere, and has a nice little guest house in the back for his mother-in-law. Everybody's happy. Savage of Wall Street just taking down that option money, the white picket fence. I've got a nice little life constructed in my mind for Savage of Wall Street. Seems to be doing quite well. Congratulations. Hello and welcome, Savage. How about I do with my money what I want? Of course, man. Of course. You enjoy. I still work. However, I buy more shares. do you, man? Enjoy your money. Buy a $1 million car for all I care. Buy more shares when it's 601. Yeah, it could. It's possible. It was just down very near there. If you caught it after hours, it was below there. So you could have just actually bought below that price, Savage. I don't know 2 weeks ago. So should have bought then. A lot of you guys always are gonna buy when it falls. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? It was just below 6, it was 614, 615. I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're trading, if you're basically aggressively selling calls and you expect to get called away, it's not really long term. But if you have a lot of people are selling calls and they have like a nest egg of shares they're not selling calls against, or they're long term shares. But I don't know. People say you're leaving money on the table like that, and math proves that's true. But in any case, guys, I don't really know what the hell else I was talking about today. Kind of a good article, no-brainer fintech on Seeking Alpha. It doesn't go super in depth, but it talks a lot about valuation, which is, it's one of those things. This is what everything hinges on with SoFi. I mean, there's no doubt that the member growth is there, the top line growth is there, the EBITDA is there, the margins are coming along. It's a really solid business. They're going to make a lot of money as time goes by. I don't think people are doubting that. I just think people, of course, the thing with valuation is when and how much. Some of these other companies, they have sort of these wild swings, like Robinhood. It's like they're losing a lot of money, then all of a sudden they're making a lot of money. PayPal makes quite a bit of money. They compare PayPal here. So they look at the EBITDA, they look at all the growth, look at valuation, and they're basically like SoFi Technologies is still a steal. Let's see, 2.82 billion. So it's modeling 2.82 billion 2025. I really think it's going to be quite a bit higher than that as we come into rate cuts, but I think SoFi is going to introduce new products that are going to really pump that through 2025. So I think that's very, very low, but obviously my opinion matters not to Mr. Market. So if you just go by what he's saying, the current market valuation is 7.5 when he wrote this. So leading sales multiple of 2.6. And then PayPal is selling for a 2.0 multiple of 2024 estimated sales, but PayPal is not really growing. Investors haven't liked the stock much. I mean, that's not really true because like Steve had me in PayPal at, I think, 54. And I think now it's like 70 something. So it's actually done quite well off the bottom. But, if you look at the overall chart for the life of the stock, it's been very, very challenging. But it's just kind of, it's a subjective thing, GARP, like what is a reasonable price for growth? And then what is that growth going to be? Market maker. So the analysts saying 15, now some saying 18. Goldman Sachs had the revenues at 2.52 this year. So Goldman Sachs is expecting an absolute explosion in Q4. But, two major catalysts coming. It's not just the Q3 ER where, management's telling you there's going to be a massive quarter-on-quarter explosion in EPS, but also, the rate cuts. If you get that 0.5 point rate cut, I mean, I read an article today already that mortgage rates are at the lowest rate they've been in like 3 years today. And that's before any rate cuts. Because, the lenders are kind of anticipating, competing. They want to lock people in, before the rate cut, because once the rate cut comes, all the lenders are going to be able to cut rates. So it's getting very competitive. But I think SoFi's home loans, I think they're already exploding. I mean, we saw that a little bit in the last ER. But anyway, guys, what do you guys think is going to happen? I mean, basically, we have, 3 weeks until we see what the rate cut's going to be. Most people think it's going to be at least a 0.25 point. The market is kind of starting to price in 0.5 point. I'm not so sure. I'm kind of down the middle. I'm leaning more kind of toward 0.25. Because they said every time economic data comes out, it kind of overall leads to a slowing in the economy and overall leads to the theory that there's going to be rate cuts. But then they always sort of throw in this crazy Ivan, like maybe jobs are unexpectedly strong, but they just revised payrolls down like 800,000. So, I mean, that's a big number. That's a big revision. I don't think I've ever seen payroll revised down that much. So it's really weird, guys. It's all the money they printed during COVID really upended the system and it just made a lot of these things that if you've been watching the market the last 20 or 30 years, you sort of thought you knew how things worked and how things would behave, like how gold and oil and these different things were tied together with economic weakness. And I just don't know that all those rules are still in place, because you have a lot of new things at the table. It's not just free trading. It's not just so many people, trading options. Like, people are making money, like Savage of Wall Street selling options. For the most part, when I started trading, almost 30 years, that wasn't even really available. Like, nothing was online. I had no idea how to do that. I didn't know what that was. So like, very, very few people were selling options just a few years back. And now people are making a lot of money doing that. So the game has totally, totally changed. Now, retail investors have a lot more information. Retail investors have a lot more options. You can put together straddles and strangles and all these different option strategies automatically. And it sets up all the legs of the trade. So all you have to do is click a button and you can trade like, a professional options trader. And you are a professional options trader. So, and all the information you need to do it, quite successfully is available for free on YouTube and a million other places. So it's just a completely new market that's been born, not just since the internet, but just in the last few years since, Robinhood and others, came in with free trading. So it's really hard for sort of the old salty dogs like myself to go back and say, okay, I know how this thing should be moving. And I sort of hear the same frustration in Anthony Noto's voice that I'm having in my own, voices in my own head, which is like, he's saying, hey, we're not being rewarded for anything we're doing here. We've just accomplished one of the greatest transitions in the history of American business. He's like, if anybody's doing the work and looking at these numbers, you're seeing what financial services is doing. You're seeing lending still holding up. You're seeing our credit quality, holding up and then some. And Mr. Market is giving us nothing. So why am I going to put my foot in the gas? Why am I going to put risk on? I'm going to take risk off because the market is not rewarding us for anything. So he's like, I'm just going to plug away. I'm going to grow members. I'm going to do my thing. And Noto's playing Noto's own game. Noto's playing for 2026, 2027. Noto's not playing for Q3. Noto's not playing for Q2. I mean, quite frankly, I don't even think he wants the stock up. This was the first ER where I've heard Noto come out and actually sound like he's defending the company against all the bullshit. So his complete change in tone tells me there's a new sheriff in town. It's a new day. And he's starting to push up on the stock. I think he wanted more shares. I'm not saying he wanted the stock down in the fours. I don't think he wanted people to be talking about reverse split and penny stock and all that stuff. But I sure don't think he minded buying shares at 550. Look at how this thing came down just before that senior secured note deal. Just fell off a cliff. No reason. Because the rich, powerful market makers needed at certain places. And a lot of times shorts and longs want it in the same place because they can cut your stupid retail throat and drink your blood. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome. It's Un Poco Moss. I have no idea where I'm going with any of this, but you don't see the puts are very, very weak, especially the volume, but also the open interest. There's nothing below 7. There's a few, this is old open interest at 6, but you just don't get the idea that bears, shorts, market makers are looking to drive the stock back down aggressively. The options aren't saying it. They're not doing it. I guess their hope might be that the rate cut doesn't come, because if you just take a look at fair value accounting and how SoFi, handles their books, and then you look at sort of the criticisms of like a bologna sandwich, that the back end of these loans that have been held higher for longer, their loan book's going to fall apart and it's going to absolutely kill them. Well, the flip side of that coin is what's going to happen when originations go absolutely through the roof. I know the mortgages aren't going to be, held on the books and stuff like that, and they don't work exactly like the personal loans, but you have to believe, there's going to be a huge demand for personal loans, refinancing a lot of this high interest, record high credit card debt. I mean, and SoFi is going to have their pick of the creme de la creme, the very best customers, the very high-end customers. And the ace in the hole that people just aren't giving enough weight to is the student loan refining. I mean, that is going to drive a huge amount of business to SoFi. If we see a 0.5 point rate cut, that's going to be immediate because it doesn't cost anything to refi it. There's no cost to do it again. It's basically just a little bit of time. So with 0.5 point, you're just going to see a huge flood of business. And I think SoFi is going to be able to keep paying their depositors more interest than anybody else, because their net interest margins are huge, because they have these personal loan customers that frankly pay back their loans. I mean, LaPointe went dollar by dollar over the defaults. Where are they? Where have they historically been? What type of biblical calamity would have to happen for this thing to come anywhere near our maximum allowable projections? It's just not going to happen, he's saying. It's just not there. It's not possible. We don't see it. We're not seeing it. And he said, by the way, things are looking even stronger as we look at Q3. So all the criticism, credit quality, loan book, balance sheet constrained, it's absolute garbage. It's like opposite of the truth. I don't get it. Maybe some of you guys get it and you can help me out a little bit, but I don't know. I'm not seeing it. Like, where are the bulls? What happened? It just seems like everybody is perfectly happy to have this stock hang around down in the 6s or the low 7s. I mean, the historic bulls like Andrew Jeffrey, John Heck, they're nowhere to be found. Deutsche Bank, he's a hold at 11. Bank of America, hold at 9. I mean, okay, I can understand 25% upside, your hold on the stock. It's a little bit more difficult to understand with, Deutsche Bank with an $11 target price. It's over 50% upside, but I can't tell these guys how to rate stocks. They obviously know quite a bit more than I do. But in any case, guys, welcome and hello and welcome. I've been selling summer calls, taking all these dummies. I tell you guys, man, sell options. He's Savage of Wall Street is exactly right. Sell options. Sell options. Sell calls. It's so simple. It's not hard. Like, I want to learn how to sell covered calls. You don't have to learn anything. Just, you do have to learn about, the times and the strikes and that type of thing, but it's actually very, very simple. You just kind of get free money. And other people, take the pain of time decay and their option loses value every single day. And if this, the worst thing that happens is you get called away, and it's not the end of the world. Where you can roll out to a longer date. There's all kinds of options, guys. You can literally learn to do this in like an hour. Now, it's going to take practice and experience to really dial it in to where you're making the most money you can. But just selling covered calls, even as a novice, you're going to do better than not selling them at all. And you're certainly going to do a lot better than if you're buying calls for shorter day. I have no problem with you buying calls for like 2026. That's a kind of good way to get leverage. I do that. Leaps. But don't buy those weekly calls, monthly calls, calls right around the earnings report, because even if the earnings report's great, they can still drive it down for a couple of days. I mean, these shorts are obviously motivated, well-funded, as are the bears. So, if they have a lot of options exposure, they're still going to drive the price down, even if the ER is good. Options are very, very important in terms of how market makers make money and how the price action in any given stock is going to function. You have to look at it. You have to understand it. And better yet, you should be profiting from it. So Anyway, I'm sure you can get more information over on Savage's channel. But yeah, just looking at these guys, like who fucking cares? Like the articles, there's basically nothing out. Like it's just absolutely nothing. If you look at Ortex, they usually have 10 articles out a day on this little SoFi news brief. I'm kind of filed by Kelly Keogh. I have no idea what that is. Form 144 is probably some kind of bullshit. Number of shares to be sold 25,000. I assume this is for tax purposes. Yeah, they're vesting. I don't know. This is usually for some kind of tax purposes, but 25,000 shares. I'm not super worried about that. And it's JP Morgan Securities as attorney in fact for Kellyanne Keogh. I don't know what she does with SoFi. I must be board member or some kind of bullshit trustee motherfucker getting a bunch of free shares, but 182,000 worth. Sorry guys, I'm not an expert on my filings. 13 U's, 13 F's. I got to read them. I got to read them a couple times because I always kind of, I'm not like super good with like forms and spreadsheets. That's not my strength. I'm not a numbers guy. I'm an idea man. Let's see. Sat Kellyanne. Thanks, M. Russo, you naughty man. Calls for sale, 2026 calls for sale. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't buy them at 15, guys. I have like 2026 calls. You know, I'm just trying to get leverage. I'm like, you know, it's 6. I have some at like 550. I'm just kind of doubling my leverage. I definitely wouldn't recommend buying $15 calls 2026. I mean, could you make money? Yeah, but it's just so long. I mean, you know, Savage is going to get your premium. And he could just get out of those options and do anything, and he's just taking your money. So it just depends, guys. You got to be careful what you pay, what you buy, what strikes, because the problem with, you know, those high strikes is if things go the other way, briefly, your options are going to be worthless, and you're probably going to like just, you know, crap your pants and sell them for nothing rather than hold them, and they may recover their value. That's why you buy those long dates. But you have to just know what you're buying and how to behave with it. I mean, if you're buying anything shorter, you got to sell those calls on the very first pop, even if it's a 10% profit, 12% profit. That's great for 1 week. A lot of times you'll get 20 or something and people still don't sell. Sell the pop, take the profit. If you don't sell the pop and take the profit, all you're being right in theory doesn't matter. It doesn't help you. If you just watch it go up and go, hey, I was right, and then watch it fall back down the other side, what good would have been right, you know, of what good if the journey brought you here, of what good was the journey? Take profits, guys. Sell options. Make money. Buy low, sell high. Just do the opposite of what the market makers want you to do. It's not that hard. But guys, we're at a critical point because, you know, this thing was a SPAC like over 3 years ago for $10. It's been down, you know, in the 6s, basically been 4 to 8, but mostly hanging around in the 5s, 6s, 7s for the last 2.5 years. I mean, this is a war of attrition, and retarders are losing. Institutions are accumulating very, very slowly at very, very low prices, which is exactly what they want to do. And on top of that, they're making money selling options. They're making money shorting. I mean, SoFi stock has been a massive cash cow for institutional investors at the expense of retail investors. And that's just a fact. Like, all of you want to say, oh, this is, you know, I'm buying low, I'm DCAing. And then, you know, people are honest. They're like, hey, my average is 12, my average is 13. You know, it's just very, very troubling. Because I don't like to see retail investors get skinned by market makers just because a lot of you guys don't know any better. But that's what happens. So what can you do? Let's see. Please take me out. 675. And my average is up to about 540. Yeah, I mean, of course. Yeah, you'd be happy to get taken out at 15. It's, you know, that's way over 2x your average. Guys, just understand, don't listen to Savage because, you know, he just wants you dum-dums to feed him money. But he's right. Sell options, guys. Just don't buy these calls he's selling. I mean, you're going to buy him anyway because you're a bunch of fucking dummies. But sell options, guys. Sell options. Makes money about 80% of the time. There's a reason market makers who never lose are not buying these short dated calls just to gamble. They might buy them sometimes as a hedge for a particular time and place in a particular instance, but they're selling options. That's how you make money. That's how you make money. And that's just the truth. I've made money buying calls, but like I've been around the block a few times. And like I said, I sell them for a modest profit early. I don't sit there and wait for Friday. Sell on Monday, maybe Tuesday morning on the pop and get out. Just take my 10, 15% that week. A lot of weeks I was taking 20%. But I don't recommend you guys try to do that because you're slow and you're stupid. Let's see. Hockey rink got out time for his raspy voice. If you want to listen to Savage, listen to Savage. Savage, I don't know if you know how the market works, but I'm sure you do. But you're not actually selling these like directly, like person to person. It's not Cutco. I mean, you don't have to go door to door and sell these calls. You can just go right on your Robinhood account or your Tasty Trade or your whatever the fuck you use and sell them to strangers. You don't have to sell this dog shit to my audience. No, but you can if you want, because my audience is a bunch of dum-dums, and a moron and his money are soon going to be pardoned. And if Savage doesn't take it, another one of these Wall Street Gordon Gekko vulture types will. So may as well be Savage, since at least he's a viewer. But in any case, guys, I don't really know what I was talking about. I had some bullshit written up on my whiteboard. Yeah, first off, Q2 wasn't really that great. There, I said it. Q2 wasn't really that great. I know, the loan book held up, but SoFi is like a money machine. It kind of runs itself in the sense of being a bank, lender, financial services. Yes, they're instituting some good products. It was very solid. It was solid. Okay, but it was somewhat pedestrian. That's not going to shock anybody. Hey, revenues didn't go down as much as we thought. Hey, some people thought we were going to make 0 cents EPS and we made 0.8 cents EPS. Woo! I mean, that's not going to light the world on fire, guys. It's solid. They're executing, but they're not really making any money yet. I mean, I don't know what people want. I want the stock up. I mean, sure. Makes us all feel good. It makes you get the warm and fuzzies, but I mean, SoFi still got a lot to prove. 2 cents, 1 cent, 1 cent, 4 cents over the life of the company after losing money for years. I mean, I want to see this jump in EPS. The market wants to see it. Mr. Market wants to see this 5 cents. Show me the nickel. Forget Penny Hardaway. Show me the nickel. What do you guys think we're going to see for EPS this quarter? I think we're going to see maybe 4 cents. Top end 5 cents. But the most important thing, guys, if we see the half point cut, you are going to see a massive guidance raise into Q4 and I believe also into 2025 and 2026. So much depends on this interest rate environment and SoFi's lending. But Noto has set this up perfectly. Maximize the lending capacity. Minimize the risk. Don't chase the dollar. He could have been chasing this whole time, put his foot on the gas, making questionable loans, increasing the risk on the credit card side. He did the opposite. He takes short-term pain to be more successful, more stable, more profitable, more responsible long-term. That's my view of it. That's why I love this management team. Because they're all over it. They're hedging their risk. And like I said, Upstart's going nuts. Because they're signing these contracts. It's like, okay, Upstart's selling, loans for car repair. And Upstart's selling loans for vacations. I don't know, guys. I wonder about people who are taking installment loans that cost money on these things rather than putting it on a credit card where you could get 0% and get a big travel reward. Like if you book travel through SoFi and their Expedia partner and you use your SoFi card, it's not 3. I think you get like 4% back or 5% back in addition, because like normally it's 2 or 3. I forget exactly, but I've done it and it works. I mean, you get it back. You get a great discount. You get a great price. So if you're a SoFi customer and you can book your travel and get 5% back in stock or a credit or whatever you want, and you're responsible with your credit, I just don't see why you want to put everything on installment loans. I just see these people as not great credit risks. I see them as one step above like a payday lender type borrower, like people who don't have access to high quality forms of credit. It's like, okay, it democratizes lending, but do you really want to democratize lending? I mean, do you really want to lend money to people who are putting their groceries and car repairs on installment loans? And I know, car repair, it's one of those unexpected expenses that hits. It probably helps a lot of people. And that's wonderful. But I'm saying, are they going to pay these things back if the economy goes into recession? Why are these stocks pumping so hard, these installment loan companies, just because they're signing partnerships? I mean, if your core business is not profitable, growth doesn't help. That's why I'm so excited about SoFi. And, the business model, I think people are not at all recognizing where the margins can go. Let me show you Turd's copy of the live short interest here. If anyone at all is interested, looks like million shares, 1.38 shares return. There's something very, very, very interesting that I never see that happen earlier. Cost to borrow spiked average today to 2.31 and then held above 2 for exactly an hour. And then it fell back off a cliff. Max was 8%. And for a while, their minimum was 1. You never see that. Minimum is often negative. Like it went back to negative 0.09. And now you do see this max at 7.95 occasionally. But cost to borrow average 2.16. I don't remember seeing that very, very, very rarely. It's just very interesting that their shares became much more expensive to borrow there for an hour for whatever reason. Oh, hello and welcome and hello. So not much going on there with the short. The interesting thing is the borrowing has gone down, but the short itself hasn't changed at all. So the short interest actually kind of up or flat 180. And then shares on loan over here were 260 when, the short interest was like 180. So they've returned 60 million shares without actually, covering any of the shares they've actually sold short. So they manipulate the price through borrowing and basically through volume. Those are the two major tools that I see. Guys, I'm going to have to take a brief breather and go grab some filtered tap water because my voice feels like I swallowed a nice roll of sandpaper. So anyway, you turds watch the screen, talk to each other, rub Not a Lurker's head for good luck. Maybe Alberto Bertie Aviles will give you cute girls a ride on his motorcycle. But I'll be back with you in 2 and 2. Until then, hang out and do whatever the hell you want. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see. We have sorry, I just tried to stuff a piece of fig bar down my mouth. I was starving. One of those little fig cookies. I almost choked. Hello and welcome. Welcome. And it wasn't a Fig Newton. It was like one of those generic healthier ones from Whole Foods. If Not a Lurker's listening. Wasn't a high sugar Fig Newton. It was a whole wheat one. Easy, Not a Lurker. Easy. Anyway, hello and welcome and hello. It's the great Not a Lurker on the text line. None of you turds have the text line because you can't be trusted. Only people I want texting me in the middle of the night is a bald man from the East Coast, someone from New Jersey, preferably from a truck stop. That's a personal problem. It's a personal problem. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello, and welcome. Timeout so you don't feel left out. Birdie, weren't you offering backseat rides to your Cybertruck? Does Birdie have a Cybertruck too? That guy's all the fun toys. You options, guys. You're living it up. Danny stuffed it in his mouth. You know how I do, man. I like a rabid dog, darting a bone. Let's see. So anyway, guys, doesn't look like anybody has anything to talk about. Let's see. Stop Console Wars said, I just got my cousin signed up for Sofi app this week as far as fair trade. I used his referral to get a Chime too. And then when I liked Chime as an external account to Sofi, link Chime, they gave me 50 points. Hey, there you go. What is 50 points? That's $50. Fax Podo, 30 grit sandpaper. Indeed. That's a rough one. You really want to remove some material. You get down to 30 grit, you might just use a saw. 30 grit, you're basically talking about, some boulders glued to a piece of paper. Let's see. Stay in the corner, don't move. Turtles. I like turtles. Don't mess with Alberto. Oh, I shan't. Let's see. Yes, I'm timed out, bitches. Tortuga de Rio. Hola, y cómo estás? Y qué tal? Y bienvenidos y biblioteca. I'm going back to the beginning to watch the show alone. Don't do that, Brian, with a Y. Watch with the rest of us. Trust me, the whole beginning of the show, the whole first 50 minutes was absolute dog shit. Dude Assface is borrowing money on installment loans so he can buy calls from Birdie and Savage. Feeding the beast, dude Assface. Feeding the beast. Swing that wrench, but do so with discretion. Brian, you are late. Timeout. The wrenches have gotten a hold of him. Dude Assface has been buying my calls. I don't doubt it, man. I think a lot of my audience is dumber than fuck, and they're probably buying a lot of these short-dated calls. And guys, I'm not going to say I never buy them, but I buy them when I think the stock is going to pop on a Monday or Tuesday, knowing that they're going to crush it again on Thursday and Friday. So I sell them, and I buy some shares. I buy something else. I, might go out to dinner, whatever. But just don't hold calls till the end. Like, think about it as a percentage. If you buy calls for a week, you got to sell them the first day. Like, unless the stock just pops and you get lucky. But if you buy calls for a year, you probably want to sell them that first quarter on a pop, because market makers selling you the calls, they know what they're doing. It's like an actuary. They know how much they have to get to make money or to roll. It's just time to they know what they're doing. That's why they're not buying those calls. That's why they're selling the calls, and they make money over 80% of the time, because you're a stupid, broke asshole. That's why. Why did all these short dated calls open up overnight? Okay, this is this week, guys. 8:23. This is tomorrow. Okay, this is tomorrow. 17,000 contracts at 750. That are just going to expire worthless. That's a lot of money, guys, right in the pockets of Savage and Alberto and their ilk. They're eating surf and turf, and they're buying chrome-plated motorcycles on the back of your stupidity. I mean, nothing against. I'm not trying to, rain on their parade, but I'm saying, don't be stupid. I mean, they're eating at Waldorf Astoria. You're eating at fucking Applebee's, if you're lucky. Hey, when are you guys going to bring back that Hawaiian chicken? I like the way you put Swiss cheese on it. That's Hawaiian. Fuck you. Get some ranch dressing on that. Nothing more Hawaiian than Swiss cheese and ranch dressing. Oh, God. Americans make me fucking sick. Oh, we're all so fat and disgusting. Pot, meat, kettle. But no, seriously. I mean, I might be a bit of a portly gentleman, but, I'm not going to, drench everything I eat in ranch dressing and just be horrible. I mean, even a fat guy can have a little bit of class. Like, look at Peter Griffin, one of my idols. See Peter Griffin here. Let's see. Anyway, so I guess that was about it, guys. I didn't really have anything to say in the first place. That was only an hour, so... basically just getting rolling. But she only eats at the pantry. Good for you. Katie's storing food. She has a biblical pure, what do they call those, non-GMO seeds or non-hybridized seed banks? So if you guys need a biblical seed bank, go see Katie Wentworth. And her dog Spot. See, Savage eating, fuck the surf, I only buy ribeye. Savage has a lot to prove with like his eating and dining habits and how they relate to his options prowess. Dude, I mean, I could make a bunch of money and still be very happy eating a sandwich. I don't know. I guess yeah. I'm not a big filet mignon guy. I don't get it. I can't even say it. Mignon. It's too lean a cut for me. Ribeye could be a little too fatty. Believe it or not, probably a nice prime sirloin is really my favorite steak. I love the flavor. I love that it's not all fatty. But it's got just enough fat in it. It's not as fatty as like a chuck steak, definitely not as tough. But if you get a nice prime sirloin, a nice thick cut prime sirloin, it really eats like a filet, just a little more chew to it. Cook it a tiny bit more than a filet, because a filet you're, hopefully going rare to mid-rare. And, with the prime sirloin, you're going to want to go a little bit more like mid-rare to medium side, because it's just not quite as tender, quite as buttery a piece of meat. But that's just my advice. You guys do you like the filet. Everybody loves the filet. It's a classy cut for a classy gentleman. Savage of Wall Street probably goes into like a 5-star restaurant, slaps down a massive roll of $100 bills, and just enjoys a prime steak in his ball cap. We ain't taking off your ball cap, Ope. I ain't, Pop. All right, I'm going to go outside on the porch, strum my guitar in my short cowboy boots, and smoke a non-filtered cigarette. Okay, Dad. What the fuck was going on with, what was happening in Mayberry? Like, there was a lot of weird stuff going on. It just wasn't talked about. You didn't talk about that stuff in the 50s. Things were in black and white. It's a different time. You didn't talk about your unmentionables. Let's see. It's a hockey puck piece of meat. Give me a ribeye. I like ribeyes too. Stop Console Wars. Just sometimes they're a little bit fatty. Now, if you get that nice heart of the ribeye, where it's just that one really nice piece and not all that fat around it and all that crazy stuff, I'm with you. Can't beat that heart of the ribeye. Let's be silly. I use my gold Amex. Yeah, I do the same. I use my gold Amex. I thought it was 5x points. Maybe it's 4x. But yeah, I do the exact same thing. If you eat out a lot, guys, gold Amex is the only way to go. Like it's a lot better for me than for the platinum card, because the platinum card is really good if you're like a frequent traveler for business. You want a lot of airport lounge access, the best deals on your flights and stuff. I eat out a lot more than I fly, so the gold card just makes a lot more sense for me. But yeah, if you I know Savage knows a lot about like credit card rewards, and he has videos and all that stuff, but I completely agree on that one. If you eat out a lot, and they also have other categories where they give 2x rewards and 3x rewards and stuff. So the gold card, the platinum card, for me, it's not a good value. I don't think I'm going to get the value out of it to get to like $700 for the fee. But the gold card, I think, is like $253, if I'm not mistaken. And you get your money back instant. I don't know how this became like a credit card show, but you get, I think it's $10 a month back with Uber, either Uber Eats or Uber Ride. So that's $120 right there. And then you get like 2 or 3 other free things where the fee is gone immediately. And I'm already making money before even these points. And now, you have millions of points. So that's what I'm talking about, guys. Why would you get an installment loan when you can buy something on, a particular credit card? And then if you're traveling, use that airline's credit card. You get massive rewards. People leave so much money on the table being stupid. Stupid. Anyway, guys, I don't really know what the hell else is going on here. I don't know how I started talking about steaks. And yeah, I used to cook in like high-end, some low-end also, but also high-end restaurants. So I worked as a grill chef. I've grilled probably 100,000. I don't know how many steaks and burgers and chops, but thousands and thousands and thousands. So maybe I'm a little bit biased because I just started kind of like looking at food as a job after a point, but I don't know. It's just all kind of in your personal preference. Like I'm not like it's the same way with my barbecue. I just don't like it overcooked, like falling off the bone. I like a bit of chew to it. So more of a backyard style than like a competition style is how I would cook for like family and friends. But I've done a few competitions in my day too. So got quite a few smokers out in the backyard, if you know what I'm saying. And that's pretty unusual out here in Los Angeles. But I don't know what I'm talking about. I haven't really said anything at all useful for the last hour. So what else is new? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Right. Let's see. We got lost an hour of my life. Nobody told you to watch Charted Travel. You're such a big shot. Why aren't you on a trip? What are you doing on YouTube, you loser? Booger fling the place. Gross. Dana does Dallas an epic true gay pair love story. One man a mic and the other a dream. I'll follow you in town. I don't know where Oprah's going. It seems extremely homoerotic, but I don't know. Piqued my curiosity. Let's put it that way. Gordon Ramsay gets on my nerves. Yeah, beef Wellington is an extremely overrated dish. I made a ton of beef Wellingtons. And the funny thing is like they put it on that show like it's the hardest thing in the world to do. You time it, you asshole, and you keep the temperature. If you've cooked professionally, the one thing you know is that you cannot keep opening and closing the oven. They're in Hell's Kitchen. They're opening the oven every 10 seconds, checking, touching. Your oven is like almost room temperature, idiot. It needs the door closed. It's like your refrigerator is not an air conditioner. Your oven is not central heat. So you put the beef Wellington in. If it takes, 20 minutes or whatever it is, then you don't open the fucking door until it's done. Or if you have to put something else in the oven, you do it very, very quickly so it can recover. You never cook food like why isn't it done? Because the fucking oven was open 10 times for 4 minutes out of the 20 it was supposed to be cooking. So instead of the oven being at 400, it was at an average of like 240 or 250. So nothing's going to cook. Why isn't it browning? Because you're an asshole. Because you don't know how to work. Because you're a slob. Because you're slow. God, I work with so many shitty line cooks. Doing the grill and saute while you're out back huffing paint. It's like that movie Waiting. Like I worked with so many of those guys who are like Andy Milanakis and that other guy. I'll cut you. Oh no, T-Dog. A clear Ryan Reynolds classic. With that Apple Store guy, Justin Long. That was a funny movie where they were with like Jonah Hill, where they like made a insane asylum into a college or something. Accepted. That was pretty good. I like idiotic movies, but as you can tell, 44 likes. Jesus, what's wrong with you people? As you can tell, it's 44, man. Pull your head clean off. Dude, the outside part of the ribeye, it is Martin Stone if you render that fat and you char it and you cook it properly. So many restaurants do not. Like, you have to be careful. You have to kind of position that piece of meat. You have to see, or just if you have, a broiler that's 800 degrees, yes, it's going to do a good job crisping that up and stuff. And especially, it's got to be properly trimmed. And Martin Stone knows this. He's a man who looks like he's operating with a theatrical headshot for his avatar. It's like a character actor. This is Martin Stone. He'll be reading for the part of Jeff, who is the uncle. Hi, Martin. Yeah. You'll be reading with Karen. This is Stock Karen. It's like, not Stock Karen. We used to date. Ribeye cheesesteak. Oh, yeah. Ribeye cheesesteak. Now you're talking. M. Russo. M. Russo's talking my language. He can't remember what it tastes like. All his money's in SoFi. Martin is eating top ramen and acquiring SoFi shares. I can't blame him at that. You could have missed it, Ether. You'd have been just fine. You could have and should have missed it. Ribeye drenched in ketchup. Nothing sets off taste of a good steak like some ketchup. Am I right? Coupon. I want it now. Let's see, making me hungry. You're making you hungry. You're making me hungry. Travel a lot. Yeah, it is absolutely. But I don't travel enough to make it worth my while, Savage. It's like I want to buy a Tesla because I love Teslas and I'm a Tesla investor, but I live a couple blocks from my work, and as lazy and fat as an asshole as I am, I walk or I ride my e-scooter. It's just, I'm not going to buy a Tesla to do a 4-block drive. Hey, I got to charge up. It's been 6 months. But yeah, the Platinum card, American Express is really, I mean, in my opinion, they have the best credit cards out there, the best benefits, the best service. I love American Express. I think I have Lowe's, Professional, Amex Cash. I believe I have 4 American Express cards presently. I had a 5th, but I got rid of it. It was I don't know, it was a business plum card or something, but I wasn't using it. So anyway, I couldn't tell what it did, and it didn't have a fee, and I was just tired of getting all that mail. So anyway, guys, I don't know why anybody's watching this. I've been blabbering about nothing for like the last hour. Let's see. I've got about 4 or 5 cards. Ukeko has good credit. Buy a Rivian. They are awesome. Savage. I'm right down here south of LAX. I've driven all of them. Rivian is amazing. I mean, the acceleration, it's incredible. I mean, these cars are incredible, but I just, I'm a 67 to 72 C10 truck guy. I like classic muscle cars. Just not an electric car guy, personally. I'll invest in them, but just not interested in buying one. If I was a commuter and I commuted, like I used to commute to my photography studio in Santa Monica, I used to ride like a scooter, like a gasoline scooter, and I'd split. I almost got killed so many times. Like if they didn't have any, electric vehicles besides maybe like that GM thing, or, this is 20 some years ago. So, if that was today, I would definitely get a Tesla or a Rivian or something like that. It would be awesome. But back then I didn't have any money and, or any common sense. And now I don't have a need for it. So I would love to get a Tesla though. Or a Rivian, actually. I don't know what I'd get. That's another good question. I mean, people, have a lot of good things to say about the Ioniq. The Chevy Silverado EV looks very, very cool to me also. And I love the Super Cruise. I love Super Cruise. I just saw, what was it? An Escalade, I believe. Something I saw I witnessed a Super Cruise for the first time, and it's really good. I mean, if it's on one, it's not like Tesla where it's like, machine learning and end to end and smart and all that. But if it's on one of the roads where it's mapped, like it's, basically fully autonomous, like you don't even have to pay attention, supposedly. Anyway, so that's pretty cool, but it's still a gasoline engine in most of those cars that have the Super Cruise. So kind of a different story. It's for people think you can only put in technology into an EV, but you can put all that same technology into a ICE car in terms of the automation. It's just getting power from a different place. So I don't know. The mind wanders, guys. Not really talking about anything at all, but let's see. My husband has a 58 and a 60 Corvette. Nice, Katie. Yeah, I have a 70. I have an old Mercedes, old Chevy trucks. I've had all kinds of different older cars. I love old Mercedes. I love new Mercedes. I've had many Mercedes. But anyway, that's not important right now. Right now, my daily driver is a poop brown Honda CRV 2012. Best vehicle I've ever owned. Best vehicle I ever owned. I call it my mule after that Joan Wilder movie. But this car does everything. It's a truck. It's a people mover. It's an SUV. It's, extremely economical. It never, ever breaks down or needs any sort of maintenance whatsoever. You just put gas in it and drive and drive and drive. So, I have other fun weekend cars, but as far as the utilitarian car, you can't beat a little piece of shit 2012 Honda CRV. They are good little cars and they just go forever. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I haven't said anything about Sofi in like half an hour. I ride a Livewire Del Mar charge. Oh, is that one of the electric motorcycles? That is supposed to be. Those are supposed. I haven't ridden one of those. So I rode an electric scooter, which was pretty cool, but didn't really move too well with my fat ass on board. But yeah, I think the Livewire is the electric motorcycle. That's awesome, C-Bar. I'd love to try one of those out. Ooh, Shelby GT 500. I can't disagree with you there. I'm not a Mustang guy and I'm not a Shelby guy, but I mean Shelby's local here too. It was like I think Harbor Gateway, Gardena, Shelby was down there. Just absolute legend. Yeah, GT 500. Can't argue with you on that one. Sired me when he was 13. My grandfather is Mr. No-No. Well, Deuce Kabuski, I might have a few little ones out there running around, but you know, if you got short legs and curly hair and an eye for shitty penny stocks, you might be my offspring. More savage, God, more savage than we can take. I can't buy a Rivian yet because I'm poor. Well, you're not that poor if you're eating the Waldorf Astoria and spending most of your time playing steak and skee ball in Reno. Buy a Rivian. Yeah, the Rivian SUV is very nice. I like the look of the SUV a lot more than I like the look of the truck. The truck to me is too square in the front. It looks like a cartoon truck, but when it's a SUV, it looks totally badass. So anyway, 3 kids, so we'd all fit in there. Dude, only 850 horsepower. That's not going to move fast enough to get 3 kids down the road. Little grocery getter. Got to go 0 to 60 in 1.5 seconds. It's just getting crazy, guys. You have these big trucks that weigh a ton, 850 horsepower. Recipe for disaster. Now, if you're an adult and you're responsible and you have kids, you're going to be fine because you're going to know, you know, when to do what. But if you're an idiot and you have 850 horsepower in a vehicle that size, I don't know. I hope the automation works well where it doesn't let you run into stuff. Because it's just, I don't know, guys. I mean, if you understand 850 horsepower, that's an extreme amount of power. That was like a few years. That's more than a NASCAR has, I think. I remember NASCAR just when I was a kid, I think it was 750 horsepower or something. So, I mean, you're talking about a vehicle that weighs a couple of tons, you know, 3 tons or whatever it is, going 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds, under 3 seconds. I don't know. Most of us are not professional race and stunt drivers, so I just see it kind of as a recipe for disaster, some of these vehicles, but I guess it doesn't really affect the range. Like they can give it massive range and massive top speed because the assumption is obviously you're never going to be using the top speed. It's just kind of a number, but you know, not the top speed of the EVs isn't extreme because of the way they're geared or not geared more accurately, but the acceleration like 0 to 100 can be just absolutely breakneck. So I can only imagine what it's like to drive a 850 horsepower truck. I've driven fairly light, you know, C10s with 500 plus horsepower, and boy, that is absolutely fucking terrifying. So but I think this is totally different because you have all the computers, all the traction control, all the driving aids. So I'm sure it's not like driving a hot rod, but I have ridden in a Rivian, haven't driven one. So I should go ahead and do that because everybody says it's so much fun. Anyway, guys, I hope everybody has a great one. SoFi is just kind of consolidating. Nothing really to worry about these last 5 days. You can see it kind of peaked up to Monday. It's 750, 751, whatever it was, and sold off. This big sell-off down here, popped back up, and it's just kind of right where it popped up the first time, Monday the 19th, when it sort of shot up from 7 to 720. So it's trying to hold on to that little ledge. It found support there again. So it's found support at this area like, 4 days in a row. I have to see if that means we're going to get a bounce. Very hard to say. A lot depends on the markets, how these fin turds move. But anyway, guys, I'm exhausted. That was an absolutely useless broadcast. Not really much else to say. I hope you guys have a great night. It's a SoFi stock ticker symbol SOFI. I want to thank Not a Lurker for sitting through this turd marathon. Would like to thank our other moderator, Alberto Bertie Avilés. And thank you all for watching. Thank Savage for providing so many comments, kind of carrying us through the comments. Would like to thank for having a name I can't pronounce to save my life. Would like to thank Katie for having a cool husband who buys classic American hot rods. Sounds like a pretty badass dude, Katie. Landed yourself a badass dude. Sure you did. Because you're probably a badass chick. And I don't mean chick in a negative way. If you guys have Corvettes and your wife Your wife's probably pretty cool. She's probably not like real super ultra sensitive about being called babe or something like that. She probably likes it. Anyway, what's going on, Matt Flo? How you doing? What's going on? 6 horsepower for a Savage model. Yes. What's going on? John Bland, Jovi, Matt Flo made it for the very end. Matt Flo, I have been talking for an hour and 20 minutes and have made no sense and have not made a decent point the entire time. So I'm going to get out of here. But at least the great Matt Flo graced us with his presence. We can't ask for more than that. I appreciate anybody who has some type of intellect in these three-letter names. But we're not going to, paint with that broad a brush because our good friend Billy Jack from Texarkana, very smart individual. We got Low Country Loot and Pawn. Guy's a medical doctor, surgeon, and also runs a pawn shop. So that's how you do down south. One of these small towns. He's also the postmaster. He's also the chef. He's also the undertaker. He's also the teacher. He's also the boss. Anyway, guys, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I got to go. Peace. Fuck you guys.